Ebony was 22 when she began to notice the subtle yet powerful changes in her body. Though she had always been aware of herself, it was in this particular season of her life that something shifted. Her reflection in the small, cracked mirror seemed unfamiliar at times. Her body felt softer, more sensitive, and her emotions were more intense, as if every sensation had been amplified. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the village, Ebony would often lie in bed at night, her mind wandering through memories of her childhood. She thought about how she had grown from a playful girl into a woman, and how the changes in her body mirrored the changes in her heart and spirit. The softness of her skin, the gentle curves that had appeared, and the quickening of her heartbeat whenever she felt the warmth of another's gaze, these were new experiences that filled her with both excitement and uncertainty. It all began one evening after a long day helping her mother prepare for the harvest festival. Ebony had spent hours weaving colorful patterns into traditional garments, her hands deftly working while her mind danced with thoughts of the upcoming celebration. That night, as she lay beneath her thin blanket, she couldn't shake the warmth that enveloped her. There was a stirring deep within her that was impossible to ignore. She started with a gentle brush of her hand over her arms, tracing the curves of her skin. The warmth that followed was new, filling her with both curiosity and a sense of discovery. As her fingers moved, she felt the delicate fabric of her nightgown against her skin, each touch igniting a spark of awareness. It was a feeling she hadn't fully explored but had always known was there, lurking in the shadows of her consciousness. As the days turned into nights, Ebony found herself returning to those moments of exploration, each time discovering more about her body and the sensations it could bring. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual, a connection to the life force that pulsed through her veins. The warmth she felt was more than desire, it was the realization of her own power, her own ability to give and receive pleasure, to understand herself in ways that no one else could. One evening, while the moon hung low in the sky, Ebony took a deep breath, letting the cool air fill her lungs. She closed her eyes and began to touch her body more deliberately. Her hands moved over her skin, exploring the softness of her arms, the curve of her waist, and the swell of her hips. She felt alive, connected to something ancient and primal, as if the moon itself was guiding her. The sensations were exhilarating, and for the first time, she began to understand the beauty of her womanhood. In these moments, Ebony discovered a new sense of confidence. She learned to embrace her body, to cherish the way it responded to her touch. She was no longer just a girl, she was becoming a woman, and with that transformation came an awakening of desire. She envisioned the kind of love she wanted, one built on trust and mutual respect, and as she explored her body, she also explored her emotions, her hopes, her dreams, and her deepest fears. But Ebony was still unsure of what it all meant. Despite her newfound awareness, she carried a sense of uncertainty about sharing herself with another. Her heart raced at the thought of intimacy, and she often daydreamed about Kelechi, her boyfriend of a year. He was kind and gentle, with a smile that lit up her world and a laugh that filled her with joy. They had shared countless moments of closeness, yet Ebony often felt the weight of unspoken words and desires between them. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Ebony and Kelechi sat together by the river, the water shimmering like a blanket of stars. They talked and laughed, their hands brushing against each other, creating a silent tension that neither dared to acknowledge. The air was thick with anticipation, and Ebony felt a stirring in her heart that mirrored the currents of the river. "Ebony," Kelechi said, his voice low and tender, "I've been thinking about us. About how much I care for you." She looked into his eyes, searching for the truth in his words. "I care for you too, Kelechi," she replied, her heart fluttering. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, Ebony felt the pull of their connection. She could sense the depth of his feelings, and the thought of taking their relationship to the next level sent her heart racing. But with that excitement came a wave of uncertainty. Was she ready? Did she truly understand what it meant to share herself with another? Later that week, after another day spent preparing for the harvest festival, Ebony lay in bed, her thoughts swelling. The warmth that had been building within her was undeniable, and she found herself returning to the sensation she had been exploring. As her hands moved over her body, she felt a rush of pleasure, a spark of excitement that ignited something deep within her. But just as she was lost in the moment, the soft creak of her door interrupted her thoughts. Heart racing, she looked up to see Kelechi standing in the doorway. His expression was a mix of surprise and something deeper, curiosity, perhaps. Ebony felt her face flush with embarrassment, pulling the blanket up to her chest. "Kelechi, I didn't know you were coming," she stammered, her heart pounding in her chest. Kelechi took a step closer, his gaze steady and calm. "I didn't mean to intrude," he said softly, his voice a soothing balm to her racing heart. "I just wanted to see you." The atmosphere shifted between them, and Ebony felt the weight of the moment pressing down. She was unsure of what to say or how to explain what he had just seen. But instead of shock or judgment, Kelechi simply walked toward her, kneeling beside the bed. He reached out and took her hand, his touch gentle and reassuring. "Ebony," he whispered, "there's nothing to be ashamed of. You're beautiful." Her heart still pounded, but Kelechi's touch grounded her. He had always been kind, patient, and respectful. In that moment, she saw not just a boyfriend but a partner who would support her as she navigated this new chapter of her life. Slowly, Ebony began to relax, feeling the tension in her shoulders melt away. As they sat there, hands intertwined, Ebony felt something deeper stirring between them. It wasn't just about physical desire, it was about trust, love, and connection. She had always felt safe with Kelechi, and in that moment, she realized that she wanted to share more of herself with him. Without words, they moved closer. Their eyes spoke the emotions they had kept hidden for so long. Kelechi leaned in, capturing her lips in a gentle kiss that made her heart swell. It was a kiss filled with tenderness and longing, an expression of everything they had shared in their relationship. As they kissed, Ebony felt a warmth spread through her body, igniting the fire within her. They lay together, their movements slow and intentional. Each touch was filled with meaning, every kiss an exploration of their love. For the first time, they were not just two people learning about each other, they were becoming one, sharing their deeper selves in a way that was both intimate and profound. Ebony felt cherished, respected, and seen. In the quiet of the night, they made love for the first time, a beautiful and tender expression of their connection. The experience was not rushed, it was an affirmation of their bond, a celebration of the love they had built together over time. Ebony felt vulnerable yet empowered, knowing she was sharing her body and heart with someone she trusted completely. As they moved together, every sensation heightened her awareness of herself. She felt the rhythm of their bodies, the way they flowed together, and the connection that deepened with every shared breath. Kelechi was gentle and attentive, his touch filled with love and respect. In that moment, Ebony truly understood what it meant to be intimate with someone, to share not just physical pleasure but also emotional closeness and vulnerability. When it was over, they lay in each other's arms, the quiet of the night settling around them. Ebony felt a sense of peace, not just because of the physical experience, but because she had shared something deeply personal with someone who loved and respected her. She had discovered a new part of herself, not through shame or fear, but through love and trust. Kelechi gently kissed her forehead, his hand still resting in hers. "You're incredible, Ebony," he whispered, his voice filled with affection. She smiled, her heart full. "I love you," she said softly, knowing that this moment marked the beginning of a new chapter in their relationship, a chapter built on love, mutual respect, and shared discovery. In the weeks that followed, Ebony felt transformed. The experience had changed her in ways she had yet to fully understand, and she embraced this newfound identity as a woman. She no longer felt like a girl caught in the web of confusion. She was Ebony, a woman who had taken charge of her own body, desires, and emotions. Ebony continued to explore her feelings, both for herself and for Kelechi. They shared countless moments of intimacy, quiet conversations under the stars, laughter shared over meals, and tender kisses that ignited.